Okay, there it is. Recording has started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce Coffee with a Candidate. I'd like to make a special note that these are being recorded so that you can go back and listen to it. If you've got friends and neighbors that maybe would like to see them, be sure to share them. We have video conversations with all of the elected officials in the contested local races. And this program is designed to help inform our local businesses and interested voters about the challenges and opportunities facing our community and what our candidates feel like some of the ways they can help us meet those challenges and take advantage of the opportunities. And with us this morning is candidate Vince King. He is running for the Mount Juliet City Commission in District 1. And I want to thank you for joining us today. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Before we get into the Q&A, Vince, how about we take just a couple of minutes maybe and give you a brief introduction of yourself so maybe we can get to know you.
Yes, sir. Again, Vince King. I am a resident in Mount Juliet for going on 25 years now. We have 3 daughters that live in Mount Juliet area, 5 grandchildren now, 1 in college. Which I'm very proud of my family. I am an active member of Joy Church. I've been an usher there now for over 5 years. Enjoy that tremendously. That's a big part of my life. I am an entrepreneur. I started a small business in 2010. It has continued to grow. I've been very, very blessed. I have some great employees. I have a really good general manager that I lean on tremendously. So that affords me the opportunity I pretty much call myself semi-retired, but I have to be careful because people will always find something for me to do if I tell them I'm retired. So that is generally it. I am a veteran. I served in the United States Air Force for 8 years, way back in my younger days. That was a great opportunity. Got to travel there. So that's pretty much it, Mark.
Well, semi-retired means you only have to work a half a day, right? The first 12 hours or the second 12 hours, something like that.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, thank you for that. And over the last few years, our community, like a lot of others, has seen a lot of changes, and there really aren't very many signs that those changes are going to slow down anytime soon. What are some of the things that you feel like Mount Juliet has done to make it the kind of place that you and many others are proud to call it home, a good place to live and work and shop and play and pray? What do you like about Mount Juliet?
Well, the one thing that I really like about Mount Juliet is, besides the obvious, which is safety and fire protection, being probably the #1 priority of the city, as it should be. But I like the people. Most of the people that I consider friends and acquaintances are obviously from church. But you can go anywhere in Mount Juliet and just meet some of the best people. I frequent several of the local restaurants here, small businesses, the grocery stores, even dentist offices. I mean, anywhere you go, you're going to run into some good people, and that's what makes the city.
I think we can all agree that that's something I hope we never lose.
Right.
And it's the kind of place most of us want our kids and grandkids to grow up in. On the other hand, their change brings about good things and some things that are challenging. What are some of the things that you think still need to be done as we face these challenges? And it seems like they're coming from many different directions these days, but are there a couple that stick out in your mind and maybe you have ideas on how to address them?
Well, the obvious elephant in the room, so to speak, is traffic. And unfortunately, we're in a tough situation there. TDOT is what's going to dictate the ultimate growth of this city. We've got a terrible situation at Lebanon Road going out of town toward Lebanon. It just creates a really bad backup there. Unfortunately, it's a state road. Until TDOT decides they're going to change that, there's not a whole lot we can really do about it. Same situation south of town. I believe there is a project in the works that's been approved and being worked on to at least expand, 4 lanes out to Central Pike. The other thing that I find that is good is obviously what the commission has done and what the city has done to increase the police and fire departments in the city. I've met with both chiefs. They're great men. They're committed to their jobs. They're experienced. And I think their guidance is really doing a lot here in the city. They still have needs. I did talk with them in detail about the most recent budget, things that were asked for that they needed in their department. Unfortunately, I guess the budget did not allow that to happen. But there are a couple of things that I have in mind that I would do to help those departments. Number one being, especially in the fire department area, we need a deputy fire marshal. The current fire marshal is, to say the least, is probably overworked and got a tremendous amount of responsibility on his hands. And that's one of the things that the chief and I talked about, that I feel like we need to get that done as soon as possible.
When you look into your crystal ball, and we all have one, and we think, if we keep doing things and do the right things, what's the city going to look like for those that come behind us in 10 or 15 years? What are some things that are important to you to make sure that those coming behind us get to enjoy? And what are some things that you might want to do to make sure that we head off pending issues that you might think, if we don't do something, could become challenges, even greater challenges in the future?
Well, one thing that I'm concerned about currently, I've met with the city finance director a couple of times because I wanted to get into the budget. I'm a businessman, and I know it's money in, money out, money spend, and the ultimate goal is you can't spend more than you make. We need to, as I look back 4 years ago when I made some comments on some things. Number one, I felt like we needed to do more to bring in more activity for the youth. Good, safe, family-oriented businesses that would provide entertainment, that would provide safe places for people to go and just enjoy, their life and enjoy Mount Juliet. One of them at that time that I mentioned was a bowling alley. So thankfully we got a bowling alley coming. The other thing that I mentioned was, and I thought would be very important to the growth of the city, is we need to look at bringing in some more Class A facilities, in my opinion, out along the interstate corridor, especially. That's going to bring in high-paying jobs. It's going to bring in people that are going to live in Mount Juliet and work in Mount Juliet. We've got the ability to do it. We're, 15 minutes from the airport. That's a great selling point. The other thing that I thought would be important is the senior citizens, which I believe that is being worked on now. They're going to move the activity center up behind the current new police station that's going in. But there are some concerns that I've also got too, and they're mainly budgetary. Yes, we've got a brand new $27 million police station going up. I'm sure it was badly needed. I wasn't there when the every I was dotted and T was crossed to know what all was being done. But $27 million is a lot of money. A new fire station is being built. All that money is being done under bonds. So what they've done is we've created a situation where the city is $56 million in debt. That's a lot of money. And what that also means is my grandson that is in kindergarten is going to be paying that debt. That's a tough way of doing business, in my opinion. I know we needed it, and I know that avenue is available to the city, and we've got a great bond rating, and I'm thankful for that. But we need to be careful what we do. There's talk of an aquatic center being built. There's no way you're going to build two swimming pool, pickleball courts, tennis courts, all that. You're going to spend $20 million. Well, yeah, the hotel motel tax, oh, that's what's going to pay for it. That's fine. But the problem is there is no money in the hotel motel check account right now. It's zeroed out. So we're going to go borrow another $20 million, hoping that the hotel motel business stays good so that we can pay for an aquatic center. My thought would be, let's save some money. Let's put some money back in the bank and at least have a little bit before we go borrow $20 million to, in case something happens, we've got the money there to still pay that debt service. The other thing is the people that are going to work there, how are we going to pay for them? That's going to come out of the general fund. Things are tight at the city right now. There's positions that are not being filled. There's people being shuffled around to fill positions, that's management. That happens within a company or a city. But I think we need to be a little bit more, a little smarter about how we proceed from this point, and because we're totally dependent on sales tax. You never know about the economy. So,
well, that's a great lead into my second to the last question. But Mount Juliet relies a lot on sales tax. The chamber is in the business of creating economic development and working with the city and other parties to make sure that we keep doing that. What do you see as far as the importance of the small businesses here and that relationship with the city, as far as are there things that we could or should be doing to make sure that sales tax revenues remain at least satisfactory, if not better than satisfactory?
Yes, sir. I've talked to several small businesses in District 1 recently, business owners, and there is some concern in District 1. As you know, we're not as heavily populated or as dense as the south part of town. So the small businesses up here really, really depend on the local people to survive, to keep their doors open. So I had one guy, for instance, tell me, I'm scared. He's actually scared because if we keep bringing in national chains, which I know everybody loves, national chains, they want this and they want that. But he's like, if they keep bringing them in, they're going to put me out of business. I'm like, well, have you talked to anybody about that? And he goes, yes, I have. That's the thing that we need to be careful with. I know growth is going to happen. I know everybody wants something new and shiny and places to go, but we got to be careful. We got to take care of the citizens and the people that live in this city that have risked their livelihood and their families on opening up a business. I think the chamber does a great job in promoting the small businesses in the city. The city needs to do more, I think, to promote the small business. Yeah, it's great. You know, they've got the growth going on Golden Bear, and we can talk about, you know, the restaurants that are coming in out there and things like that. But we need to be promoting the small people in this town that has been here a long time and made it what it is.
Well said. As we wrap up our time together today, will you take just a moment and remind the voters why they should vote for you and perhaps how they can reach you if they have additional questions or additional thoughts to share, Vince?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I was approached by a lot of people here in District 1 and in the city about running. And the reason they all kept telling me, like, we need to change the culture and the thought process that's going on in the current BOC. I was certainly in agreement with that. I think there needs to be some change. There's some things that I would like to see done up there. Number one, and I was a proponent of this 4 years ago, and I've made that clear. In my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, 20 years is a long time to serve your city, and maybe that's admirable. But there needs to be a different way of thinking. You know, you need different mindsets to come together at some point in time and maybe have a better idea or a better thought or a better way of doing things, not get locked in on the same things over and over again. That was the biggest issue that I had. As far as myself, I can assure you that I am a blessed man. I realize that. I'm a humble person. I'm not boisterous, things like that. But I do have a heart and to serve. I serve my God. I serve my church. I donate. My company donates probably, I think, to probably every school, at least high school and middle school. I've supported them for years. I support their baseball teams, their basketball teams, their football teams. I'm honest. I have a tremendous amount of integrity. I'm ethical, and that's the way I would serve, and that's the way I would perform if I was fortunate enough to be elected to the council.
Very good, and thank you for the contributions to the community. If it wasn't for the community sponsoring and financially supporting them, we may not have some of the youth sports and opportunities for our children. So thank you for that. Remind folks how they, after this call, how can somebody reach you? The website, perhaps?
The easiest way to reach me is calling.
There you go.
I'm old fashioned. It's 615-394-0296. Email, another great way. I've got that down.
Okay.
Vince King, 1158@gmail.com. And I do have a Facebook page, which is Elect Vince King, District 1 Commissioner. So
very good.
Reach out, please.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Best of luck in the upcoming election. As a reminder, this conversation, we recorded it and it'll be available for you and others to share. Check out the Mount Juliet Chamber under the videos on our YouTube channel. And I'd like to, in closing, remind everybody that early voting starts on the 16th, this Wednesday, and runs through Halloween on October 31st. Please go out and vote. Vince, thank you very much and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.